Peugeot, and here we are back at this Peugeot 308 with, we've already proved, the timing is off. So if you haven't seen the first video, quick recap. This thing has had a load of parts at it. It's been 3 separate garages. I'm now the 4th, and it's had a new timing chain replaced. But as I've saw before, exact same fault code, the timing on the intake is retarded. So our locking tools are in there, and they're just sitting loose at the minute, but they're sitting on the head. And you see that gap? Well, there is a tolerance for that gap, and it's about 2.5 mil, if I remember correctly. And what are we got there at the moment? You see that? It's about 15-16 mil of a gap. So you can clearly see that that is off a mil, and you can sort of see anyway without really just looking down the camshaft. You can see that flat there needs to be, you know, pretty flat. That's sitting like that. So we've done a wee bit more. I'll just set that back on again, just to put it somewhere. We've done a wee bit more anyway. What we also found was a whole load of, you know, wires not connected correctly, or not connected at all. And then when I got underneath the car to put a crank pin in, I discovered that the vacuum solenoid down here was just flopping about. And you see how close it is to the exhaust, you know, so that was a bit of a worry. So I just went ahead and took the inlet manifold off. You know, all the bolts are uppermost here. They're all pretty accessible. And then there's one wee bracket down below that's a wee bit of a pain, but it's not too bad. So when I went to do that, the reason why I did that was because I wanted to check that all these pipes were on, they're all on correctly. They're all in the right place, because when you find that standard or sort of workmanship, you just sort of have no faith in anything. So I have a bit of time on this, and it's just going to sit here for a few days because I'm waiting on the delivery of new camshaft bolts, these 2 boys here. Namely this one. I actually have a couple of these ones for the VVT, but I don't have any of these. So I've ordered a couple of them. I only need the one here, but and it's 2 wee bolts are coming by courier from England to Northern Ireland. Probably won't be here for a week. Anywho, so well, I don't know where we look about, and I decided to take out the solenoid that goes in the back here. Now you're not going to probably see, that's the tensioner, the head of the bolt, the tensioner. But in beside that is the oil control solenoid that controls that. So I took it out just to have a wee look at it. And that's it there, sitting there on the bench with a wee pulley oil. And that's been replaced. So in the boot we found a whole load of parts, and I know a lot of people commented in the previous video, parts cannon has been chucked at it. So there's a bit of debris on that, or as we call it, debris or debris. This sits in below that there, and it's very difficult. I'm not going to be able to show you it, you know, in behind the camera, but that sits directly in below, like that, you know, on the head, and it's sunk away in. So it's actually away in there. You can't even see it at all, and that is a non-return valve. Often forgot about or not known about or whatever, but in this case it's pretty clear, and all it is a ball bearing in the spring. So because I've seen that debris there, I says, oh, better go a wee bit further. So didn't like all that debris on a car that's apparently had the sump removed and all cleaned out. And if we remind ourselves of the bits and pieces that we found, a bit of metal missing, broken guides, bits of guides. But if I have a look at this guide here, there's a fair lump missing out of that, as you can maybe tell. And the actual stand isn't even here, the pedestal that it stands on. There's another bit. So, having looked at that debris, I decided to have an arc duke underneath, and I can more or less categorically say that that sump has not been removed at all. So I'm a wee bit worried that there may be a lot of muck lying the bottom of this engine, and the oil strainer might be full of plastic, and there might be a metal tooth of that sprocket kicking about. So these are the parts that we found in the boot, as well as that chain kit, or the X chain kit. We found that solenoid valve, a diverter valve, and the original oil control solenoid. And if we look at it, it looks alright, bar, and we'll get you down in that, bar the filter strainer has been, I don't know, it's been punched or something. I don't think it's right through, but there's definitely a dinge in it. The other thing about it is, there you go, they've taken it out with grips. Yeah. So if you look at the one that was in the car that I took out, well, there ain't no grip marks. None, not required to do that at all. Now you might notice as well, a wee tip-ax marks here and there, and that's to tell me the positive side of that connector. And one there as well, because we're going to test these. But before I do that, I'm going to have another wee nosy here, because the guy's testimony said that they Walnut blasted these valves at one point to try and maybe resolve this problem. And I've had a wee look at a couple of valves here, so it'd be interesting to see what you think about this, because it looks like he's been blasted it with gravel. So tell me what you think about this. It's some of them are alright, but just down now there's not too bad, but you can see it's pretty badly pitted. But that's actually one of the better ones, I think. And a bit of reflectance there in the camera, but let's see. Going down another one. So we went along most of them here. So we've got 8 valves here, 8 inlet valves. So you can see there it's all pitted in the back of the valve there. Normally they come out pretty smooth. Now, I don't do walnut blasting myself. I would do the odd intake clean with chemicals, and it doesn't clean it completely, but it helps. So you get a wee look at that one there. It's certainly been blasted alright with something. Let's see. Another one. Let's see that one a bit better. Look at that. It's like tinfoil, isn't it? So, there you go. If that's normal, let us know for walnut blasting. But, yeah. Let's see what that one looks like. Well, that's not too bad looking. It's pitted, but it's smoothish on the back of the inlet valves there. And I think that's it. Right, so we're back on the bench, as promised. Vacuum solenoid. Now, a thing I did notice about this vacuum solenoid was, I don't know if it'll come up in camera or not, but I'll try and focus you in the best I can. There is a tiny wee crack in it there. Right, that goes right round. Right, I checked the hoses, they're going on the right place. So we can see that it says here, vac out, So that's a breather. All that there is a breather. And so that's your vacuum supply, and that's a vacuum out whenever you actuate this. So that's closed, and then whenever you actuate this, that opens that, and the vacuum is allowed to come out of that. And that makes the turbo actuator pull in, you know. So the diaphragm and the turbo actuator. So anywho, this is a thing that wasn't mounted and it's hidden away down below the inlet, and that's why I just took the inlet manifold off. But there's been a sort of a bit of a bulge apparent. I don't know, can you see that? It's like super glue on it. You see that sort of shiny stuff there? Right around. You can see the crack there maybe. So it's like, you see it reflecting in the light. So there's been super glue been put in that. You can see the crack there. So I don't know where somebody's, if they broke that or something. And maybe that's why they've replaced it, or recommended it to be replaced. So I asked the owner what the crack was, you know, why was that replaced, and you know, they were just shooting parts at it, I think. I don't know. Right, so I set up a quick rig, and this thing here, it's just sitting in the vase so it doesn't fall, and that is a brake bleeder, so that's what we're going to use as a vacuum source. It is going to be a bit loud. This is a vacuum gauge, so that's going to see if the vacuum is going to go through that or not, when it's off or on or whatever, or see what happens. And so make it a wee bit loud here. Get a 12 volt supply and see what happens. So, knock that off. Well, not a big lot wrong with that, apart from, as I say, it may be unreliable because of that crack there. The fact that was bouncing about, that was just sitting just above the exhaust, you know, so it was probably, I don't know, wouldn't have lasted too long, but it's going to be sorted now. So our next test, cannonball ammunition, is this diverter valve. Now the guy says he actually put this on himself because it's dead easy to do, but it was one of those other garages told him to do it because he was getting some sort of, I don't know, some fault code related to that. So now this diverter valve, this is the one that was in the boot, of course, and whenever you bolt this in, it sort of presses that in a wee bit. Okay, so that holds that in a wee bit like that whenever it's attached to the turbo. So when I actuate this, nothing happens, but if I hold that in the way it would normally sit in the turbo, you can see, let me do this. Hold on, get myself in position. So that's working. Next cannonball. Now, he did say that they just replaced this because they thought the screen was dirty. They just replaced it because of that. So I don't think they replaced it because they thought it wasn't working. But shoots factor 10 on that, boys. So I hope you all like that bit of music in the background, and anybody that recognises it knows what I'm getting at. So there you go. So that's it for this one. We will be doing a video on how to tension these chains. This is the second one in a few months that I've seen exact same situation, only this poor guy has spent a fortune chasing this problem and his timing been off right away. The timing chain was fitted first, and then it went to another garage for the Walnut blasting, then it went to another garage and he reconditioned the turbo and fitted all these other parts. So the timing chain was fitted first, and the timing chain did indeed need done because that rail was broken. But I can clearly see that he has not taken the sump off, so there's debris going to be in the sump. So it's a sump off, oil and filter change, and it's just, you know, I've discussed this with the guy, and you know, he just wants it done, and he wants it done right. So I told him what the crack was. I am not touching the crank bolt, and I've told him that as well. And I told him, you know, if it wasn't torqued correctly and it was going to loosen up, it probably would have loosened up by now. So we're just crossing our pinkies and hoping that the crank is okay. I am not touching it because I haven't got a replacement, and you know, you're just into basically doing the timing chain all over again. All I'm going to do is retime this, fix these bits and pieces up, put them into the correct positions, you know, clip the wiring where it's supposed to be, clean out the sump, get rid of that debris. I'm expecting to find bits of plastic in the oil strainer, and I'm hoping to find that bit of that sprocket, that tooth of that sprocket as well. So there you go. That's quite a wee camera that there, by the way, guys. Not very dear either. 50 quid you buy them for. And you can plug it into a laptop as well. So, you know, you don't need to have a maxi-sys for that. So you need to download some sort of software, some sort of camera software, you know, like a webcam software or something. And they're not dear, and the clarity is great. All those cheap endoscopes you buy on Amazon and all that are a waste of money. Ask me how I know. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the background music. All the best. Bye bye.